Then you're gonna stop it. Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is American History X. So I'm excited to get into this. I don't know a lot about this movie. All I know is that Edward Norton's in it and it's about neo-Nazis. So I don't know if this is a true story or if it's fictional or what the plot revolves around, if Edward Norton's character is an actual one or if he is like an undercover cop trying to infiltrate. You know, I don't know. I just know it's supposed to be very good. The comments will be on for constructive discussion, but any hate of any kind won't be tolerated. I'll just delete your comment, report you, and you'll be banned from commenting on the channel again. I had to do it with some people with the Prince of Egypt reaction, and I'm not going to hesitate to do it here as well. So this reaction was voted on by our patrons, and next week they're voted for Anastasia, the animated movie. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. On the Patreon you can find 1 week early access, full-length timer-based reactions, and polls for upcoming shows and movies, so you can vote just like they did for this. So with that all out of the way, let's just jump into the movie. Tony K. Edward Norton, yeah. Is it in black and white? I saw the date for it was 1998, so obviously they had color technology then, but maybe they made it in black and white for artistic reasons. That could represent something as well of how people see things in black and white. That might be a stretch, I don't know. Avery Brooks. Okay.
There's a black guy outside. He's breaking into your car.
How long's he been there? You have a fucking gun, Danny.
Man, I don't fucking know.
So are they stealing his car because they know that he's a neo-Nazi? Or is it just like a coincidence? Does he know him? He's so prominent, just like right there. It stands out so much.
Travesty, arguing for Hitler as a civil rights hero, you've got to draw the line.
And he harbors some sick ideas, but I am not ready to give up on him yet.
Yeah, you can't just give up on people,
I can guarantee you 100%.
especially because he's young.
He learned this nonsense, Murray, and he can unlearn it too. I will not give up on this child yet. Shut the door!
Okay, so he's still being harsh on him.
He was one of my students. You knew that, right? Honors English. He was a brilliant student. But he hung out with simple-minded fools. Also, like you. I think the street would kill you. Your rhetoric and your propaganda aren't going to save you.
Yeah. So I guess he might see it as keeping him in school is protecting him.
Prepare for me a new paper due tomorrow to analyze and interpret all the events surrounding Derek's incarceration.
Oh, he got arrested. Okay. Yeah.
The only one reading it.
These really intense close-ups.
Want some too, bitch? Huh?
Well, Bob taught Vineyard back in high school, and he's followed the case kind of closely.
Okay.
Cameron Alexander, well, he's a Venice Beach landmark. He promotes white power bands, he writes reviews. I'm trying to pin something to him, but it doesn't work.
He runs everything out of his house down by the beach.
There were no...
His voice, I feel like I recognize it.
Alexander found in Derek his shining prince. Frustrated.
I feel like he's a voice actor.
This kid Vineyard, well, he's got a lot of baggage.
Was shot and killed battling a blaze at a suspected Compton drug den. Lieutenant Vineyard's oldest son, Derek, has agreed to talk with us for a moment.
Okay. So Derek's their dad was shot. Was that how everything started?
Well, this country's becoming a haven for criminals, so what do you expect? Blacks, browns.
Oh.
Related?
Yeah, it's race related. Every problem in this country is race related, not just crime. Those are problems of the black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community. They're not white problems.
He's like almost onto something there with everything's race related, but it's the other way round.
Putting out a fire in a fucking neighborhood he shouldn't have even given a shit about.
If something happens to him, things could get very ugly.
Yeah, if something happened to him, all the people that looked up to him, it would be there'd be a retaliation against it.
Hey yo, is that fool you was telling me about?
Oh, is the guy from school.
Motherfucker.
He's just there to not intimidate, but he's just like not harassing. It's like he's just there to antagonize them.
He said white kids shouldn't have to walk around scared in their own neighborhood.
See, I can understand why you'd be against gangs and violence, but they're just attributing that to black people and not attributing it to what the root of the problem is and how you can solve that, when the actual root of the problem is like the actual problem is racism and black people being held back so they're disproportionately poor, and then, you know, all of the things that come with that.
You have a big fucking mouth, Sam. I can take this down.
Give me shut up. Got this game. Fucking embarrass us. Shut up.
I've seen his girlfriend before somewhere as well. Were these the ones that robbed his car? They are, aren't they?
No money for these courts. And not just today, for good. Pack up your shit and get your black asses out of here.
I'm guessing Derek wins then because of how they were saying that he cleaned the streets for a bit. I know what she's from, I just am forgetting the name of the movie. Where they're witches.
You okay?
Yeah,
And then the younger brother's seeing all of this. He's seeing all this and it's just doing an impression on Danny, and then of course him going to jail would make him resent them even more. I mean, it'd make Danny resent them even more.
Derek wouldn't let us visit him in prison. He said it would make it just too hard for him, and that if we came, he wouldn't see us anyhow.
But this is the first time he's seen him in all that time.
Come on, give the guy a break.
What's the matter? You too big to give me a hug, tough guy?
You gotta do something about that hair, man. That dude's gotta go.
Yeah, I don't know. The girls like it, so.
Well, I don't. It hurt like shit while they were putting it on.
Put this on you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the guy from before at the basketball game, right?
We're taking down the Zog machine, two by two by two.
Oh my god.
She's on.
He'll do it. I'll make sure he does it.
We'll do what?
Came to see the man.
Are you sure you can fit through the fucking door?
This is some foreshadowing if you ever seen it.
No, he always comes over here.
Just helps himself in. Some mystery here about who he's on the phone to, what he's talking about. Oh my god.
Are you still here, Goodyear?
You calling me a blimp, you fucking Democrat?
Some of them are alright, I guess.
None of them are fucking all right, Danny. Remember what Cam said? We don't know them. We don't want to know them. They're the fucking enemy.
Are they just taking everything that Cam says as gospel?
Like, say it with some fucking conviction.
So it seems like, yeah, it says there's not any conviction behind it, so maybe he is having second thoughts.
Fucking A, back from the dead. God bless Jesus Christ, man.
It's not hugging him, yeah. And he's not, he has hair now as well.
Sweeney on the phone?
Yeah, Sweeney called and told me.
God, I hate that fucking man.
The teacher.
Forget this Yahoo, all right? He kills bugs for a living. You don't want to be like that. Sweeney is a good teacher. You can learn a lot from him. Just yelling at him for blowing smoke in your face, and you're in here sucking on it.
He seems like a changed person. He's trying to be responsible.
Hey, I'm not kidding. Promise me you're going to stay away from that party tonight.
He's trying to stop Danny going down the wrong path like he did. What a dickhead, just spitting those out all over the floor. Yeah, that's a yeah, it's a good interpretation.
Sure you don't want to stick around?
You know I'd love to, but I gotta be careful.
Yeah, Cameron, he does everything but down low, so he's never caught for anything.
He sent Derek to the kids, to the frustrated ones. Don't just be some punk, be part of something.
It's more like gang culture, isn't it? He's like the gang leader. There's these other gangs that form our own gang, but the gang's rooted in racism.
2 million illegal immigrants bedding down in this state tonight.
Oh, no, you don't need this. You don't need this. It's not gonna hurt you. Oh, man, this bitch stinks. Get me some clean products. Yeah, that's
Oh no, this is make things even worse. You shoot someone.
some of that in there. Throw it on, throw it on. Come on. Hey, that's a great color on you, you know? You can get a white woman's job, bitch.
Derek had a good job. Mom was starting to live a little. Everyone was feeling so good.
You threw it all away.
Is that most of the stores that were destroyed during the riots were owned by black people.
This is the exact thing people were saying about the BLM protests and riots. It's like history repeats itself.
National expression of rage, that's such a cop-out. Grabbing any excuse they can find to go and loot a store.
But when it was the BLM ones, you know, it's not necessarily the people who are protesting who are also rioting. There's people who just showed up to only do the riot.
1 in every 3 black males is in some phase of the correctionals. You know, like a racial commitment to crime.
Well, maybe it says something about prejudice in the judicial
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, if you want to take a look at the social inequalities that produce them.
It's not crime, it's poverty. It's just nonsense.
It's the cause of a riot is rage, and the cause of crime is poverty.
High as a goddamn kite, driving 120 miles an hour down the highway. He gets pulled over by a bunch of cops, and he attacks them. The cops end up on the stand defending themselves.
Having a discussion.
Having a nice discussion, right?
Nice discussion, yeah.
Derek, let her go! Derek, let her go!
Finished with you. You need to learn some fucking manners, Davina. Shut your fucking mouth!
Even Danny showed that he went too far.
What are you doing, Derek? This is your family.
You think you're not a part of it, and you never will.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Because the teacher said he dated the mum.
Aren't you ashamed?
I'm ashamed that you came out of my body.
He's gone.
He's just a boy without a father.
Yeah, he needs a father figure. Now Danny holds that against the teacher for leaving his mum, maybe?
Come on, I'd never hurt you guys. I'd never hurt you. You know that. I'd do anything.
You just tried to.
No, you get sick from smoking. You're gonna quit, it's not good for you.
So do you, Danny. Come on. He's already filled with rage from what happened at the dinner table that night.
Just fucked with the wrong bull. Come here! My father gave me that truck, you motherfucker! Put your fucking mouth on the curb! Now! Jack, no!
Danny gonna stop in? See, just shooting was, you know, you can say self-defense. He's proud. There's no shame in his eyes. He's happy. How does Danny see this and also go down the same route? Yeah. Oh, he is going to the party. There's little kids there as well. You can see how uncomfy he is here now. Oh, there she is.
He's trying to make you feel guilty about writing about Adolf Hitler. Yeah. Some spick writes about Martin Luther King or
I think there's a slight difference between MLK and Hitler.
I don't want it. I don't want my family involved. Everything I've done here has fucked it all up. Do you understand? It's bullshit, Stacy.
No, he's losing her.
Look who's here. The return of the soldier. You don't have to watch your ass around here.
No, he does.
He thinks the joint messed with your mind.
It did.
Wait till you see what we've done with the internet.
Yeah, internet's just an echo chamber.
Only relax.
Brings people together.
You're not listening to me. I am done with it. All that bullshit out there and all your bullshit too. I'm out. You didn't do shit. I found out about your little prison story. You did 2 months and then you rolled over on 2 kids and let them go down for you. So don't feed me your fucking lies, Cam.
Oh.
Yeah, but it doesn't even really matter if I don't, does it? Because you got the next crop all lined up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Fucking chicken hawk. You prey on people, Cam. And if you come near my family again, I'm gonna fucking kill you. If you come near Danny again, I will feed you your fucking heart, Cameron.
Oh.
I won't have to. I'm more important to him now than he'll never be.
There we go. I was waiting for that one. I mean, it was a mistake, but it's fucking therapeutic to see.
Come on!
Look how quickly they just...
Fuck are you going? She's gone!
They just switch up on him just like that. Needs to get somewhere safe. He can't go home now either.
Who do you think you are? Take it easy, Dan. All right, I'm sorry. You weren't supposed to see that tonight. I told you not to come.
Fuck you, man.
This is my fucking house! Get off!
You see how, like, in prison they're all the same. They're all treated awfully. Doesn't matter who you are.
After 2 days in that place, I didn't think I was gonna make it a week.
Keep my eye on you, you white piece of shit.
All the wrong people knew who I was anyway, so I figured I'm just gonna put up a flag and hope a friend sees it.
Out of one gang straight back into another.
I'm the most dangerous man in this prison, because I control the underwear. You better watch your ass, because in the joint, you nigga, not me.
All about.
That's just politics, man. It favors you. Chill out on the preaching bullshit, okay? We're getting a little tired of that shit around here.
Does he actually have a visitor? Oh, the teacher, Sweeney. Right? That's got to be who it is. Oh no, Mum.
Daddy, he holds you up so high. You think you're the only one doing time, Derek?
Oh.
You think you're here all alone? You think I'm not in here with you?
And you know what? That's cool with me. But you know you're gonna give me a goddamn heart attack too.
Is he gonna befriend this guy? Come on.
Matter of fact, the only sheets I get mad at, I tell you. This is what we're gonna do.
He was taking it from the Mexicans and dealing it out to his own people.
Okay. So he doesn't think they're convicted enough.
You know what that smells like, right? You got a woman? Yeah, you got a woman. You been a bad boy, huh? You been a bad boy.
He's gonna sit with that guy now. Or just on his own.
How do you figure the Lakers to ever be a bigger dynasty than the Celtics?
His phone, you took his guard down with him.
What the fuck landed you?
I stole a TV from a store that was right next door to a donut shop, all right? I run out.
Doesn't make sense. No, you didn't get 6 years for stealing.
Yeah.
They said I threw the TV at the office.
And he's got more time than Derek. So now all of the people that he was with feel betrayed. Yeah.
That was real sweet.
Fuck you!
Oh, there's Sweeney's things, right?
Your anger is shutting down the brain God gave you. Blame everybody. Blame white people. Blame society. Blame God, because I was asking the wrong question. Has anything you've done made your life better?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I don't want to fuck up my family anymore. I'll go
Yeah.
as far away as I can get.
That's not good enough.
Yeah, don't run away from the problem.
Every day I was sure it was my day. Every time I stepped out of my cell.
Yeah, how can you step back in that shower again? Not quite sure I understand why the black guys against him. Are they actually after him?
Come on, man. What the fuck you waiting on? Get the fuck on out of here, man.
I'm thinking maybe the only reason I'm getting out of here in one piece is you. I owe you, man.
Man, you don't be shit, alright?
So he has to put on a face for it.
It's wrong, and it was eating me up. It was gonna kill me. How did I buy into this shit, you know? I'm pissed off.
You're angry, you need to put your anger somewhere.
Feeling away.
Yeah, the anger just grows. I feel like something's gonna go wrong, especially with Seth, because Seth knows where they live. He changed on his mind that easily. It's a long process. But we already saw Danny was having doubt.
It's hard to look back and see the truth about people you love. Say it started when our father was murdered. But the truth is, it started earlier.
Was it taught by the dad?
I think it's like this book about this black guy, you know? We're doing this whole black literature, you know?
What is it, Black History Month?
Yeah, so it's all taught, isn't it?
It's everywhere I look now. Affirmative blaction. Just don't swallow everything he feeds you whole. Now, what happened to the other books in the course? 2 black guys on my squad now. But I got 2 guys watching my back who aren't as good as 2 other guys. You only got the job because they were black. You know, this affirmative action crap.
I didn't think about it like that.
It's bullshit.
There it is. He feels shame looking at it now, doesn't he? He's acting so great, just the look, you know, just through facial expression.
Anyway, we're gonna try to pick things up and start over. And I feel good. But for what it's worth, thanks a lot.
You look great.
Go for an interview or something?
Yeah, gotta dress up for the parole.
Oh, okay. He's on edge, yeah. Oh, I shouldn't leave him alone. I feel like he wouldn't have held the door open before.
Cameron Alexander and Seth Ryan are at the ICU at St. John's. We were kind of hoping that maybe you'd talk to your old crew.
No, I hate to tell you, but I'm out, okay? Those guys are probably gunning for me now.
It's the same thing he was saying before. He ran away instead of, like, he's staying to Danny to change Danny's mind, but he's not doing it for anyone else in the group.
Come on, this has got nothing to do with me anymore.
Yes, it does. It has everything to do with you. Yes, I'm asking you to do whatever's in your power to do.
I feel like he just needs to, like, move out of town, move somewhere across the country. He's just not safe.
I'm glad they're not dead, but other than that, I don't care.
So they were jumped by someone else?
If I made it through Chino, you know, this would be a piece of cake, right?
Is Chino the prison?
You gonna be okay?
Yeah.
I hope his girlfriend there, she was only at the party for him. She doesn't believe in everything like Derek's girlfriend did. But something might happen to Danny. What the fuck?
Oh, no, no, no. Oh, Jesus. God, what did I do?
Well, my conclusion is, hate is baggage. Life's too short to be pissed off all the time. Derek says it's always good to end a paper with a quote. We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. The mystic chords of memory will swell when again touched, as surely they will be by the better angels of our nature.
Oh, who was the quote from? I thought it'd say, I'm guessing MLK or someone. Okay, so that was American History X. Of course, super difficult watch and really effective. You know, it was what I was expecting. I knew it was going to be a hard watch, and I knew the topics it would hit upon, so, but still, it was really moving. There were a lot of things in here that were really difficult to watch. The scene where they raided the store, they were like pouring cleaning products in the lady's mouth. That was just disgusting. And of course, the scene in the shower. And I'm really glad, because a lot of movies use prison rape as a joke and as a way to emasculate people. But that isn't what they did it here. It was treated with the seriousness that it deserves, and I really appreciated that. I think what this movie is really about is cycles of hate. It's really hard to break these cycles. Who knows if we ever will. You know, when you attribute individual actions to a group of people and start hating that group, and then you do things as revenge to that group, and then they do things back, it's just a never-ending cycle. And it's really hard to break that. You have to, you know, take accountability for what you did. And I really liked that, how Derek, at the start we see how hateful he really is, but he does learn to take accountability for his actions and to learn and to try and grow, not just grow himself, but to try and help other people. And that's all he can do, is try and break down all of this hatred that he built for these other people. He pulled people into his neo-Nazi group, and now at the end we saw he was trying to get them out again. Edward Norton gave a great performance, kind of as I expected. He was really good. A lot of just subtle acting with his facial expressions, but then of course he goes big as well when he has fights or the arguments he has. I think what's really haunting about this film is there's still so much of it that applies today. Lots of the conversation that they were having at the dinner table you could just pluck out and place in a dinner table conversation today, when they were talking about a guy who was being beat up by cops and someone was recording it, and then the police went on trial, and then Derek was defending the police, saying that, you know, the black guy was a criminal and that he was on drugs. That is just like exactly the same as George Floyd. It's almost exactly the same situation. Weird cosmic parallel with him being named Derek and then the police officer, Derek Chauvin. That's just weird. A lot of things, and how they were talking about affirmative action. I guess this was set in the late 90s because it came out in like 98. So that must have been just when affirmative action was starting to become a thing. It seems like it's more of a modern thing, but I guess some of these things were happening back then. So this was directed by Tony Kaye, and I haven't heard of him before now. I haven't seen any of his other films. I don't think I've even heard of them. Spun, Lake of Fire. Yeah. Weird. It's crazy how there's this film that's so influential, yet I've never heard of him or seen any of his other stuff, and he has such a small filmography. So there's this character, Seth, who's kind of portrayed as this, you know, idiot. And I think what I find so scary about his character is, you know, how when he was kind of barging into their house, how just kind of normal it seemed, and how normal it is for hatred to be there for all of these people. You know, they just treat it as like an everyday thing. It's just scary that there's people out there who do think like this. And I feel like a lot of what Derek says is kind of contradictory. It's like he's almost at the point, you know what I mean? And he just needs to think a tiny bit more and he gets there. And the point is like the complete opposite of what he's thinking. You know, when you're black, you have like an obligation to poverty and to being a criminal. When you know, the truth is that because of systematic oppression, that so many people are poor, and then, you know, when you're so poor, sometimes you have to resort to crime to be able to get by or to be able to support your family and things like that. There's so many things where he's like just on the edge of getting the point, I feel like. So Danny's girlfriend, I knew I recognized her because she's from The Craft. I had to look it up. I couldn't remember the name of the movie. There's still some things that I'm not sure I completely understood, because there was the guy who shot Danny, and at one point I thought he was involved in the car thing 3 years ago, but I don't think that's the case. I think he was just one of the guys that Danny stood up to that time in the bathroom. And, you know, I think what makes that scene great is you think the threat is now coming from the white supremacists, but it's still the cycle of hatred coming from black people because, you know, his brother had this reputation of killing the 2 guys. Obviously, people outside, people in the school would know about that and hold resentment towards Danny, and they probably know that Danny is part of the white supremacist group. It makes sense why they'd hate him. You know, it's all this cycle that we just have to find some way to break. And there was also this part where Derek was talking about the illegal immigrants and how they were working in this shop when it should be Americans working in this shop. And that's still a thing today. You know, with Trump, a lot of people liked how he wanted to build the wall and keep immigrants out because they're, you know, stealing jobs, when a lot of that hate is just kind of unfounded. I feel like in our society at the moment, there's just not enough jobs to go around, and workplaces, they just have the most power, so they just hire as cheaply as they can. And you can't blame people from wanting to move in an awful situation to America and to countries that are better off, where they can have a better standard of living. You can't blame people for immigrating, you know? What you need to do is look at the source of the problems. I feel like that's what Derek wasn't doing. He had problems created, so there's the source, and that created problems. Then people moved here, and then Derek sees them as the problem, and he sees the people as the problem, where he should look even deeper, and it's kind of the institutions and the systems that make this happen that are the problem. And it's hard to have solutions for that on an individual level. Derek, what he can do, he sees, oh, I can go out and I can intimidate this store and stop him from hiring immigrants. But, you know, on a personal level, Derek can't go and fix the system in the country where they originated, so they never had to leave in the first place, can he? Unless he was a big politician, and that takes time and everything that comes with that. A lot of problems, they're difficult, and there's difficult solutions and difficult answers, and we don't even have the answers a lot of the time. So Dr. Sweeney, he was a really great character, played by Avery Brooks, and he reminded me, I thought I recognized his voice because it reminded me of Mel Winkler, who does Aku Aku from Crash Bandicoot. I was wondering if it's the same guy, but it's not. But I feel like they have a very similar voice. He's very warm, but also can be very commanding as well. And I really liked his character because, you know, he sees all these people that hate him, but he still tries to understand and try to help them and tries to get them to learn. Because there's a lot of discourse at the moment around, you know, people on the right and how we shouldn't accept them and things like this. And I just think, like, how could you ever win an election if you're not willing to accept people who had different views and are now trying to change? And if you're not willing to actually talk to them and understand the problems that they have, you're never going to be able to come to a solution that you both like. You don't need to agree with, you know, your enemy, but you need to understand the root of their problem and find a way to find a solution, because otherwise it just drifts us further apart and we're always in these two camps. There's a lot of divisiveness there. Yeah, there was the whole section where it's in the prison as well, and you could tell like at some point Derek was going to befriend the guy from the laundry. I don't know if I ever got his name. It seemed just kind of inevitable, and you saw how when he first got there he just went into the gangs. He was so filled with hatred, like even someone in his gang talking to someone of another race was enough to make him want to leave. And eventually we see he does befriend the laundry guy, and it just shows like it's not each other that's the problem. It's kind of the systems that are in place. There was this quote by I think it was David Attenborough about how if you put a red ant and a black ant in a jar together, they won't fight. But if you shake the jar, they start to fight. You know, the jar's been shaken and we're all fighting against each other between races or classes or all of these things. But you shouldn't be looking at the people in the jar with you. You should be looking at who shook the jar in the first place. In this case, it's like the jar is the systems in place that let all of this happen. There's also this scene where we finally actually see the father, because they talk a lot about how the father died and was shot as a firefighter. You were led to believe that that's what started to cause all of this racism to build within Derek, but really we learn that it was taught from the father, which is true. Like so much, a lot of this hatred is just taught from other people. You know, when he was talking about kind of affirmative action and things like that, a lot of the time it's kind of just like teetering on the edge. You're like, yeah, there are valid points, but you're kind of interpreting it wrong, and it's not like outwardly racist. And then there was just the final line that just tipped over the edge and showed, yeah, it was just racism all along. You know, you could see that and think it's not necessarily racism, or there wasn't racist intentions behind it. But then as soon as he dropped the N-word, of course, yeah, he's racist. So this must have been filmed on film, because I really liked how grungy it was. There was a lot of noise in it. It felt very, grungy and down to earth. There was some great cinematography where the camera was like really zoomed in on people's face. It's kind of not showing the whole picture, and it's also showing that they're having a lot of internal thoughts and things like that. And then we have, whenever there was a flashback, it was in black and white. And I feel like that's something that might be a bit overplayed now, but back then it was probably a bit more innovative than it is now. Having a flashback in a different colour scheme nowadays is just kind of a standard thing, but I don't think back then it was as ubiquitous as it is now. Yeah, there's so much I could talk about here, but I don't want to keep just rambling on, so I think I'll end it there. Thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like or a comment. You know, this is a really poignant film. Even today, 20 odd years later, it still applies so much. Thank you for watching.